two, three, four.
Welcome back to the Backchecks, Beers and Banter podcast. This is episode number 3. We are part of the Hockey Hype Australia podcast network. You can find us at www.hockeyhypeaustralia.com and this .com.au. And the socials is at Hockey Hype AUS. GG, what's going on?
Oh, I've had a massage today. I'm feeling very relaxed and ready to talk about a lot of hockey, mate. You twinged your back, mate.
I did, and I'm Andrew McDougall. That's Gordon Goodenough. You know who we are, and I did do a bit of a twinge of the lower back yesterday, which is not great.
Yeah. And at the gym, yeah.
Yeah, at the gym. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was doing the same that I always do, but for some reason it didn't like it yesterday.
Yeah. Was that before or after you'd recorded your videos for TikTok?
That was after I put the tripod away.
Yeah. It's a common injury.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. That's what I'm blaming it on.
Yeah. But we had some hockey over the weekend. The Australian Junior Ice Hockey League National Showcase Series. And I know you just published an article today about one player from each team who was a standout. I did some day wraps of the tournament. Yeah, it's let's talk some AJ.
It was a pretty good weekend of hockey, I thought. The streaming service is really good. Shout out to the commentators that were on the streams. I know it wasn't always easy, smooth sailing. I know they got team sheets after puck drop and stuff like that, and numbers changed and jerseys changed. They did a good job on the commentary, so shout out to them and Thought Fox. But I thought it was a really good showcase of junior talent. I hope that at some stage we can get back to proper seasons again, like they used to with the AJ, and not just this showcase series. It was really cool when it would run over X amount of months and they'd fly across the country. That was really cool. Hopefully we can get back to that at some stage.
Yeah, I think that would be great too, and great for the players. Like the thing that I enjoyed was there were lots of players connected with AIHL teams. So, for example, a player like Max Miller, who for the Ice Dogs doesn't get massive opportunity to shine. He's on the third or fourth line, but he took over shifts in this tournament. So it was nice to see that. Another guy, Daniel Chen, for the Adelaide Generals, same thing. With the adrenaline, I think it's a good experience to see these players come in and be able to become leaders of a team and to dominate and take over shifts, and that just helps with their development into the AIHL and in the future with national teams too.
Daniel Chen was unbelievable across the 5 days. Just from the straight out the gate, just speed, skill, just taking the blue line whenever he wanted to, and just some highlight reel goals, just deking his way through, backhand, top shelf. Daniel Chen was just outstanding. I was really impressed to see Daniel Chen perform like that.
Yeah, it was a breakout tournament for him. The Sun Devils had an interesting team, mixture of Western Australian and Queensland players largely. And then I think they had Thomas Forrest in net as well for the in addition to Dewar in goal from the Perth Thunder. So yeah, that was a pretty fun team. I was expecting that they would win silver, but they got done by the Sydney Sabres. Credit to the Sabres for defeating them in the semi-final game. But yeah, anything stood out to you as far as like upsets or?
Oh, the Sabres one was a was an upset in the scheme of how the previous days were going to get over the line into the gold medal game. But what you were saying before about some of these players that have sort of had a taste of AI, but obviously, given their age and standing, haven't cemented a position. Like even Ryan Duchman was really, really good. And one thing that impressed me was both sides of the puck. So it's not just all offense. Ryan was doing it on both ends. Both ends of the puck. So defensively, offensively. So that sort of stuff really stood out for me as well. And in the article that I wrote, I put in Alex May for the Glaciers. As a defender, has been in the AI before with the Mustangs, got cut this season, still very young, was quarterbacking a power play for the Glaciers as well. Power play, yep. And given that the Glaciers were just copping a barrage of offense, I thought their defenders sort of did as much as they could across the 5 days.
Yeah, no, good observations for them. Yeah, I think in a short tournament like this, which is why I think it would be good to see like a longer format, but teams can improve quite dramatically. So, that Sydney Sabres team that lost, I think it was 7-2 in their opening game, the second game of opening night, that lost to the Sun Devils 7-2, that then, came back and won 5-2 after being 2 goals down, comes back and wins it 5-2 in the semi-finals against the same Sun Devils team. I think that just shows how a team can, in these shortened tournament formats, can really grow together and come together quite quickly. Once they get, a little bit of that chemistry, things can improve. But full credit to the Adelaide Generals, 2 years in a row now, defending champions. They looked almost from the first game, they looked like the favourites of the tournament.
Yeah, and shout out to Sammy too. We really appreciate the message and the kind words that Sammy put out on Facebook about what Hockey Hype Australia has started to do and what we're going to continue doing for the sport here. It's really cool to get that sort of feedback. So you can check that out on our socials as well and see what Sammy, the head coach of the Adelaide Generals, put out on Facebook. It was really nice.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you very much, Sammy. We would have loved to provide more coverage. I think as tournaments get to know what we're about, after we make requests, we might get people reply to us. It was good to be able to provide the coverage that we did without those contacts. But hopefully we'll be able to collaborate with more of these tournaments and leagues. I know we definitely will get support with the AWIHL. It'll be nice to collaborate with them and to share their content. And then looking forward to other tournaments in the future. Let's see what other leagues get back to us with.
It's such a good thing. The AJ, obviously COVID put that on the back burner like it did with everything. I really hope it can kickstart and continue to grow, because it's such a good concept, and it's such a good thing for the players to showcase themselves to the AI. So the AI is obviously the top league in Australia, and that's where all the young kids should be striving to make the AI. Obviously, you'd want them to go to Europe and North America and things like that as well. And obviously, the NHL, you want all kids to be like Nathan Walker and make the NHL. But for us here, the AI is our NHL. So to have this like showcase series, hopefully they can get back to the season, as we said before. But it's such a good concept that they can advertise themselves to AI clubs, because they'll be watching, obviously, and checking out how they're going. And then these players, obviously, there's summer leagues and things like that too that they'll obviously play across the summer to keep themselves fit and things like that. But it's just a good opportunity to showcase their talents. I reckon it's a cool concept.
Yeah, and it's we need an AJ or at least a junior league to be able to qualify for AWIHF, competitions. It's a requirement. It would be nice. I know COVID made it difficult, but yeah, it would be nice if the tournament can get back to being I don't want to call what it is now like a token kind of tournament, but it sort of has a bit of that feel to it, where it's like, okay, what we can do this over 4 or 5 days, whatever. It's a lot of hockey in 5 days. I'd like there to be a bit more participation. More than 4 teams in the tournament, for example. But yeah, let's see what the future holds.
Yeah, well, you'd like to have Brisbane, the 2 Perth teams back in there. There was a second Melbourne team that obviously isn't the Whalers, that aren't playing at the moment. So you'd like to get these teams back into the competition and really expand it out.
Yeah, second Sydney team as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it would be nice. And to get as I said, you can then develop your juniors. You've got a proper league to develop your juniors and to attract more players as well. So yeah, let's see what
And
happens. I've got no
and
influence.
don't lie, Gordon. And the Sunday medal games, the puck drops look brutal.
It's like
It
7
was
a.m. and 9:30 a.m. So I was in hospital watching a really crappy Wi-Fi in the children's hospital. I was trying to watch the bronze medal game, and it was pretty grim. It's pretty grim.
yeah. So a more friendlier medal games puck drops would be heaps good.
Yeah, yeah, and I get it because teams are probably they're all traveling back home that day, so they've
Yeah.
got to get to the airport for their flights, etc. But yeah, it would be nice to have the option of a little bit of a sleep in before getting straight into hockey. But the A-Dub, I think we're gonna have that on with the Sunday games with a couple of the teams. It's gonna be 8 a.m. starts, so slightly better, but still not ideal.
It's a
I'm
sleepy.
gonna have to get myself to Macquarie Ice Rink at 8 a.m. That's gonna be a bit grim.
Hey, give me 1 second. You can talk to the screen. I'll be back.
All right. So Doogie's just left. I don't know if if you're listening on the podcast or not watching. He's got his corner kitted out quite nicely with the hockey gear. He's got the Arizona Coyotes, Los Angeles Kings scarf. He's got his Mustang scarf hanging up. He's got his Chicago Bears kind of pennant flag hanging down there as well. And he's got one of the original posters for Mustangs Melbourne Ice in the background. It's all looking pretty schmick. And he's wearing a Michael Jordan t-shirt.
That poster is the first Derby poster from 2011. That was when the Mustangs weren't allowed to be called Melbourne. They had to be called Mustangs Ice Hockey Club.
Yeah, wow. You're cracking a beer.
That's what I ran off for. Look, I've got Budweiser. So if any people from Budweiser are listening, hit us up because we're looking for sponsors. So get involved. So now Gordon's he's disappeared now. I'm guessing Gordon's going to get a beer, but we're stuck looking at a Maple Leafs book. If you're not watching on the YouTube, so subscribe to the YouTube because our episodes go up on YouTube now. If you're not watching, there's a Maple Leafs book there in the corner that we've got to look at now. So Gordon, get back because we don't want to look at this Maple Leafs book for the rest of the podcast.
You know what's pretty dire?
What's that?
No beer, mate. No beer.
Oh well, I'm keeping up my end of the bargain.
Yeah. And yeah, my corner's looking pretty sad. I've got some pucks in the background. I've got a 2019-20 AWIHL finals puck.
Yeah, I did mention that to you the other day, remember? My puck that I've got here. Because I was a big fan of his and I thought maybe he was going to become something. It's it's a
Yeah,
signed puck.
Marcus Granlund. Yeah.
A signed draft puck, but
Was
yeah,
it
he
signed by
didn't.
Marcus?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? That's not important at this stage.
I remember my dad had this glove, this baseball glove that had some signature on it. I don't even know whose it was, but so I started bringing because I played baseball in primary school, so I got my baseball glove, my shitty little kids baseball glove. Sorry, I just swore on the podcast. And I signed a name on it. It looked tacky as, but I just told kids, oh yeah, this was like a Major League Baseball player signed it. Yeah, friend of the families. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just a talking of baseball. This is totally off topic from what this podcast is supposed to be about. But you would obviously know who Greg Bird is.
yep,
Yeah, he's just signed with the Melbourne Aces.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I just seen that before we started recording. So that's pretty cool. New York Yankees slugger coming out to play for Melbourne.
Yeah, nice. I mean, yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out on who's on the Blue Sox. The games, it's just a pity that they play so far away from us. But we went to a baseball game a year or two ago, I think. Um, it's such a good time. It's such a good time. The sound of a baseball game is it's not quite up there with hockey, but it's still pretty cool. Um, yeah,
There's
it's a
a
good time.
there's a lot of parallels with baseball here and hockey here in terms of where they stand and all that sort of stuff in the sporting landscape.
Yeah, yeah. We just had some guy that kept on dropping C bombs, and there was another. He was drunk off his nut, and this other like family, like that looked like they all worked out to the gym together. They were like having a go at him and telling him to shut up and getting really angry. And that was basically the side entertainment for the entire game for us, was just watching that escalate bit by bit until they all left. So yeah,
Yeah, I seen a friend of mine eat a 1 meter hot dog at the baseball here. That was
yeah,
a sight to behold.
a 1 meter
Um,
hot dog.
yeah,
God,
yeah, it was quite large.
yeah, wow.
Um, and coming out of the
Suppose we
Global
should
Series,
talk about something. Yeah,
yeah. Coming out of the Global Series, we're we're on Gouche live too. So that was really cool to jump on with Kerry Goulet, who is now back in Canada, doing his stuff out of the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's got his studio there. I think he was at he might have been at the Maple Leafs game. I know he did a live before one of the games. I think he's headed up to Edmonton, somewhere around the top of Alberta, to start working out the Tour for Hope for 2024 for the Indigenous teams. But yeah, thanks heaps, Kerry, for getting us on Gooch Live. It was pretty cool to jump on there and have a chat, and then get all the comments and interact with people in the live chat.
yeah, yeah. Nice to see how the hot dog is made, right? It's we'd laughed because we weren't sure if it would actually happen, because just the chaotic energy that is Kerry Goulet. But yeah, he's such a good guy. Yep, shout out to Kerry. Thank you for having us on. But yeah, hopefully we'll be collaborating a bit more with him as well with some work. So that's pretty exciting. He's also sharpening up his coaching as
Yeah,
well over there, doing some coaching. So yeah,
it's really cool because we've got ideas now. So with this podcast and the way we record, I think we're going to hopefully go off into a different platform to make it look even better when we record. But when I was looking at Kerry's coaching, he's doing the coaching over there. I get so jealous of the rinks and the barns. Like even in junior sort of university hockey and stuff like that, their rinks are awesome. I wish we had rinks like that. Nothing too huge, just big enough, glass rod around, some stands. It'd be sick.
Yeah, yeah. News out of Tasmania, the government is looking into the possibility of another ice rink after the last one closed down a year or so ago. It was a tiny rink, but it was the only one in the state, and the state hasn't had, it's not just hockey that needs rinks. There's all the ice sports that are screaming out for rinks. The curling team, Australia's curling team at the Olympics was a huge, story at the last Winter Olympics. If you want to see more stories like that, if you want to see Australia competing seriously at winter sports events, you need rinks. So that would be great.
Just need opportunity, people in Australia. If you give people opportunity with sports here, they will succeed and they'll do good things. I really hope that rink in Tassie is big enough for hockey. That's my one hope, because I've always thought about Tassie as a potential team for AI and AW. I don't know. I don't know why, but I've always felt that it'd be cool to have a team out of Tassie. The climate, all that sort of stuff, sort of suits hockey. I feel like they'd get around it, the Tassie people.
Yeah, I agree. What else do we have to talk about, Jiggy? You've got the list.
We could talk about the AW, or we can go to NHL, or we can leave the NHL till the end. Because my NHL team is just sitting in mediocrity again.
That's where you want to be. You don't want to be drafting too high. Yeah.
That's our problem.
You'll be drafting 13th and around 13th. It's a good spot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's shocking.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, my Leafs they did all right until Chicago, but they Austin Matthews 2 back-to-back hat tricks. So shout out to Austin Matthews. Big fan of the pod, obviously. He'll be listening for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've heard that on the way to the rink he tunes in to Backchecks, Beers and Banter.
Yeah, he's a good family friend. He signed my baseball glove when I was a kid.
But the Leafs did lose today. I watched the bits and pieces of that game today.
Yesterday.
Hey?
Yesterday against Chicago.
No, they played Buffalo today. Am I thinking of the Leafs, or am I thinking of someone else?
I think you're thinking of someone else, mate. I think it was Tampa against Buffalo. Was it Tampa?
Oh yeah, Tampa. That's right. Yeah, there you go. I've got the colors. I've got the colors mixed up. Yeah. Okay.
Colors. You know. This is a side trivia point. The Tampa colors are the same as Toronto's deliberately. So when they were coming up with the team, when the team was first established, they chose those colors because a lot of people from Canada and Ontario, they come down to Florida to retire. So they thought it would be a great idea to capture that base of expats by having a team the same colors, at least the blue and the white, as the Leafs. The Leafs as well, they're one of the only teams that have only 2 colors in their uniform. The Detroit Red Wings also had red and white, but then they added a bit of black. So that's just, if you're ever on a trivia program, those are a couple of factoids for you.
Do you think it worked? Or do you think the fact that it had Steven Stamkos, that's why they've got a big fan base?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean probably Stammer, but this was before Stammer. This was back in the Vincent Damphousse kind of days. Before even the Vincent Lecavalier days. So anyway, that's something to bore your the audience with.
Well, it's only early days in the NHL. Unfortunately, the Oilers have picked up a win Sad days. I was hoping for 0 and 82, but obviously it didn't happen. But yeah, my Calgary Flames are just, they're not terrible, but they haven't really clicked yet. So yeah, it's only early days.
Shout out to the LA Kings for winning their first game of the season today. Cam Talbot in goal. They won 5-1. I forget who. Oh, here they are. Yeah, Winnipeg Jets. Pierre-Luc Dubois' previous team, and Dubois got on the score sheet for the Kings with the game's first goal as well.
And the Yotes lost to the Islanders.
Yeah, 1-0. Matthew Barzell with the only goal. Roken is just too friggin' good in that. Yeah.
We've got the A-Dub coming up too. So we are 10 days away from A-Dub season. The Sirens have had exhibition games. The Rush recently announced their roster. And the Ducks and the Ice will be playing exhibition games this weekend out at Ice HQ. So that's something to look out for. And it is on the live stream.
Yeah. Worth watching. I know Ice HQ, they're going to be hosting 2 AWIHL games this season for the Melbourne Ice. O'Brien Arena wasn't available, and Ice HQ moved things around to accommodate. Good on them. So looking forward to them. I'm going to be having a chat actually this week with head coach Jeremy Muir, captain Lucy Parrington. She was just announced as captain, and might have a chat with Ross Fisher as well, who owns the owner of the team, the Melbourne Ducks. I've always said how much I love the jersey. It would be so good to have those jerseys in the AWIHL. Interesting. It would be definitely interesting to have a pair of Melbourne teams, a good derby feel down there. What do you reckon, Doogie?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I have an article coming out with Shana Godfrey. Spoke to Shana about the Ducks in Melbourne and the ice and all that sort of stuff. And Shana agrees that more hockey is good. So more places for women to go and play hockey is only a good thing. So I'd think if there was another team in Melbourne, it would be really cool.
Yep. 100%. Hopefully the ADub will make an announcement as well soon on streaming. I know there's lots of things going on since the shock of Clutch TV going into administration. The league has been working really hard to find solutions and should have something coming up shortly. As far as teams, every team has released their rosters except the Sirens. So it's a bit hard to do a pre-season kind of predictions until they release their rosters. But having a look at the others, Adelaide Rush have a good-looking roster. The Perth Inferno, theirs looks strong. Brisbane Lightning looks strong. They've got questions in net. Imogen Perry, who was the standout starting goaltender last year, is taking a year off. So we'll see how that impacts them. They certainly have firepower up front, though. Sydney Sirens, of course, they're a good young team. The goaltending situation, we'll wait to see what that looks like. Obviously, Sarah Dodomache has retired, so that leaves a bit of a hole. And the Melbourne Ice, their roster, I mean, they're looking like the team to beat on paper.
Yeah, and I will have the piece on with Sarah Salmons out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that as well. Returning to the A-Dub for the Inferno after some time away, which I'm really excited to see Sarah out on the ice. I think Sarah's going to bring some real quality to the league after spending 4 years at college playing college hockey.
Yep. So lots to keep an eye out for on the website. I'll also have an article about the AJIHL players with AIHL connections and how they performed. That should be out later this week. and then an article on the Melbourne Ducks next week after I have a chat with those people I spoke about earlier. What's next, Doogie? What have you got for us?
I'm going to try and do something here, and I'll probably absolutely stuff it up. But I'm going to try and share the screen here because I've got some footage from your house. And people who are on the YouTube, they'll be able to see this if you subscribe and you watch on the YouTube. On the podcast, obviously you can't see it, but this is footage from Gordon's house, and I'm really loving the footage here of the next AW star. Can you see that, Gordon?
Yeah, I can see it.
There you go. So that's Tilly during the night with the hockey stick and the puck. So getting ready for a future AW star. So thanks, Gordon, for sharing that content with us.
Well, when you said it was footage from inside my house, I was like, usually you need to subscribe to my OnlyFans for that sort of stuff. So I was willing to give you a freebie, but yeah, so that's certainly better than the footage I was anticipating. So thank you.
I did have a laugh when I seen it the other day.
Yeah,
I thought that's something that would come out of your house.
yeah. What else have we got, Dukes?
We have got something in the works potentially for Hockey Hype Australia. We cannot say too much, but it's pretty cool. Gordon and I have had a meeting with someone, which will sort of change the game with fandom here and fandom experience, with collectibles and things like that. So it's really cool. Initial stages. So yeah, just keep a lookout at Hockey Hype Australia socials, and hopefully we can release something really, really cool in the future.
Yep. So it's onlyfans.com/hockeyhypeoz.
Yeah. It's just footage of me shooting pucks at Gordon.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, eventually you stopped, so that was good, you know. So yeah. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, I think that's it, mate.
That's it, mate. Yes.
Yeah, we're just gearing up for AW season. I'm super excited to cover it, to watch it. It's a good league. It's increasing in quality and talent every year. Even we've seen last season with the youngsters that were some of them are only like 16 years old, just tearing it up. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, and teams are approaching us and tagging us and stuff, and it just makes it so much easier to cover the sport with that. Yeah, it's nice, and it's gonna be a really good year. I am feeling quietly very optimistic about this season. I think there's a potential for some shocks. I know Melbourne and Sydney have kind of dominated over the last recent years, but I think there's some potential for Adelaide's got a strong team, Brisbane's got a good young team, Perth. They've added Sarah Salmons. They've got Jamie McKenzie, who Graham Hyde Coach Graham Hyde is hugely excited about. So it's going to be a good one. It kicks off October 28 and 29. We'll provide details of how you can watch as soon as the AWIHL and IHA make that announcement. But yeah, it should be good.
Yep, I agree. It's a little bit of a shake-up too. Imogen Perry not there for Brisbane, Shana Godfrey going to Melbourne. So there's a few changes too. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see how teams sort of get on after a bit of a shake-up here and there.
Yep. Some big retirements as well. So yeah, let's see what the landscape of the league looks like. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. This weekend, obviously, if you can, you can watch the Melbourne Ice versus Melbourne Ducks stream as well, to whet your appetite for the AWIHL.
Yep, and we'll chuck up a link for that stream before the weekend so people know where to find it as well. So get out and support the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League. But for Gordon, for GG and I, that's Backchecks, Beers and Banter. We're done for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if you got anything out of it, but we had a beer and we had a laugh, and that's what it's all about. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4.